Hey y'all, welcome to Clove Room. I am really excited for this video because it's going to be my 2025 Best in Beauty. I was actually inspired by the Anna edit. I used to watch her channel all the time and I don't know what happened. I got unsubscribed from her because I really don't remember actively doing that. I think like a video of hers like popped up on my recommended and I was like, oh my god. I haven't watched her in a minute. I miss her. One of the things I love that she does is her year-end beauty favorites. She doesn't really do a lot of beauty content anymore, but she still every year will do her kind of best in beauty video. And the cool thing about it is that she like tracks every year the product or products in each category. And she has almost like this historical record on the screen as she's talking about her current favorites. And I was like, I want to start doing that this year. And then I also realized I've actually been doing YouTube for a few years. Not consistently, but I have been doing it technically for a few years. I have a couple of years worth of favorites that I can put up on the screen to compare to my current favorites. It's very fun, very interesting, intriguing to see like what you like kind of go through more, what are like the consistent favorites. Because I do have some like every year it's been like for the past 3 years. It's been the same favorite. The years I have prior are 2023 and 2024. In 2023, I did more of this type of robust, full, every category year-end favorites. Last year, I did more of just like, I just did this video that was like my 9 favorite products from this year and it was more like overhead shot. There's a lot of not availables for last year, but imperfect data is better than no data at all, right? So just know that going in with the context of the past data. And then there are some stuff from 2023 I just didn't have a favorite in. There's also some categories this year that I just didn't feel strongly enough that anything was a favorite. There's a few things that are newer to me that I was like, I think I'm comfortable putting that in, and of course I'll talk about that. A few things that probably if this was shot a month or two in the future would have made it, because I would feel comfortable enough having enough time to get to know them, but I didn't feel like super comfortable putting them this year. And if you're new here, welcome, my name is Cam. I love to talk about beauty, but from a little bit more of like an intentional, conscious consumeristic whatever perspective. If you do enjoy the video, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure to give it a like, helps me out a lot. I feel like usually when I do like big lists about makeup, I always start with like primer, when actually my routine usually starts with, well actually it technically starts with brows, which aren't until the end. But anyway, it usually starts with eyeshadow. I always do my eyeshadow first. So this list is sort of, although I guess not completely, but sort of based on the order I would do my makeup in. So first we're going to talk about the single eyeshadow category. And this is one of those categories where there's a product that's been my favorite for the last, I mean, I guess 3 years technically, 2023 through 2025. And it is Phytosurgence Lunar Lightwave. I don't have like b-roll or anything for this video, but 90% of these products, if not all of these products, there is footage of me applying or at least wearing the products on my channel. So if you just search like Clove Room, Phytosurgence, Lunar Lightwave, honestly, especially for this product, you will get a million videos. Especially like, I feel like this year I've done more like actually putting on makeup on camera. So I know a bunch of these products have like detailed demos of on my channel. If you are interested in that content, just search for it. Lunar Lightwave and I have had such a beautiful, gorgeous time together. I don't know how else to say it. This is just the best single eyeshadow of all time in my opinion. And I've really used a lot of it, especially for like a topper cream shade. I feel like that's like a good dent in it. It is the perfect gentle wash of scattered glitter. I love it. I feel like its specialness comes from the fact that it's able to give that perfect scattered glitter effect, but do it softly, because a lot of the eyeshadows that are softer aren't as glittery, but then a lot of the eyeshadows that do have more glitter are a lot heavier on the eyes. And if not heavier, just like have more pronounced textures. It's both effortless, but also you're kind of doing a lot with it in like the best way. It's really a unique intersection that Lunar Lightwave finds itself at. It's just the perfect eyeshadow. I use it often, especially for like day-to-day looks when I just want like a hit of glitter, but I don't want it to like overwhelm the eyes. I will say, Phytosurgence is not shipping eyeshadows to the US right now, and mine, I mean, this is the same pot I've had for the last like few years. It's getting old, and I desperately, please, Jason, if you're watching this from Phytosurgence, please just like have a special day where I can buy this eyeshadow again. I just like, please, I need a fresh pot, because this is the type of product that is like special to me and I always want in my collection. And I can still use this one and it still looks nice, but it is kind of hitting like past its prime. I don't know, there's been talk on Phytosurgence's Instagram of like paring down the eyeshadows or eventually discontinuing them. I don't know. Like, I don't think anything's really been decided, but I do know because of the tariff nonsense, it's just not either feasible or economical or possible to ship the eyeshadows to the US right now. But if there could just be a day where it was feasible, possible, or economical, that would be really fabulous, because I would definitely buy a new pot of this, and because I always need this in my collection. I don't really influence that close to the sun usually. I'm usually like, don't buy things. I know some people have bought things because of me, but for the most part that's not like what I really do. I feel like I'm an ambassador. I'm a Lunar Lightwave ambassador. I know people online who have bought this because of me. I have given this to friends. One friend even hit pan on it because she loved it so much. Like, I have really spread the gospel, like a disciple of Lunar Lightwave, if you will, a Lunar Lightwave disciple. I really identify with that label. I deserve I deserve a new one. I feel like it's a pretty essential part of the Clove Room brand to have Lunar Lightwave. And if mine gets too much past its prime and I can't use it anymore, then and I can't buy a new one, it's we just can't think about it right now. We cannot. I'm filming this January 1st. We cannot start the year off with that kind of negativity. I do have a second favorite single eyeshadow this year. It's the R.E.M liquid eyeshadow in NVM, or Nevermind. I guess I would say Nevermind, but maybe just NVM. I don't know. This is just great. I feel like I've like searched for this type of eyeshadow for a really long time. On me, it's like more of like, I mean, it's a little warm, but it's kind of more of a neutrally brown. It dries down. It lasts like all day. It's actually a really good base too for eyeshadow a lot of the times, especially like on easier days, like this combo of these two and then maybe like an eyeliner. I'm kind of done. I will say, I wish this was kind of easier to work with. It doesn't dry out my eyelids, which a lot of these eyeshadow, like liquid and mattifying eyeshadows often do. It actually blurs it out really, really nicely. Perfects it almost. This is very, very pigmented, and it, like, I mean, when I blended it out, it was dry. Like, it dries so quickly, and it's quite pigmented. I know this has been mentioned as a dupe for the Armani liquid eyeshadows that people really like, the Intense, and I haven't used those before. I've thought about maybe trying a matte one just to compare. Off swatching those and off the vibe of the people who like those, I don't think, like, I think this is much more pigmented than those, and like, for me, I can't just blend this out with my finger. It doesn't like look that great. It's very easy to over apply. So I just put like a little dot on my outer lid and then grab, I usually use this Morphe brush, the M332. I like pat it out, and then if I just want to like kind of in the outer crease and blend it in, I'll do that. And then sometimes I just do it all over my lid. And it works really well with this type of like synthetic brush where it's like kind of a blender, but then it has a flat side too. That's how I like to use it. It's not maybe as easy or as breezy as you would think maybe this type of product would be. I think because of that, it actually, like, again, it wears so well. Like, I will wear this and the rest of my makeup will be like gone by the end of the day some days, and then this is still very much on. On me, it doesn't break apart at all. I have very, very dry eyelids though, but it also doesn't emphasize the dryness. So there's a lot of things I like about it, but I did just want to note that it's not, like, there was a learning curve with this product. I really do like it. It's really nice price. These go on sale a lot too, so I think you can usually grab it for like 10 or 12 bucks, and for that I think it's a really good deal. All right, eyeshadow palette. So this is interesting because like a lot of my favorites are on the past years. So the Viseart Neutral Mattes, Makeup by Mario Master Mattes and Neutrals. Also Kaleidos Escape Pod in 2023. Love that palette. I haven't used it like really at all this year, but I need to bust it back out. I'm definitely not going to declutter it though. I love it too much. Viseart and Makeup by Mario are definitely like still ones I've used a lot this year. I really like neutral matte eyeshadows. I don't know what to tell you. There was a new palette that came into my life this year though that I have been using so much that I've just been blown away by. And if you have watched my channel at all, it's not going to be surprising. It's the BEAUTÉ Unoriginal Nudes palette. I love this because it really is an all-in-one palette for me when I use the Viseart Neutral Mattes or the Makeup by Mario, which I still do often. I use Viseart Mattes to build this look, and then I have a few glitters from the BEAUTÉ palette on. But when I used those in the past, like I would bring in something like Lunar Lightwave, or a glittery shade from another palette. Why this was intriguing to me and why I ended up pulling the trigger and purchasing this. I think I bought pretty much everything I'm going to talk about. I don't really get PR. Well, I've never gotten PR. It has the tones that I love. Like it has a nice mix of like cooler neutrals, also some like warm, and then it also has those indie scattered, or can be worn in a scattered manner, special shades in it. It's all in one palette, and it's magnetic pan. So I've also used these to build my own palettes too, which is great. When I first got this, I actually was like, oh my god, I think I hate it, because the mattes are a lot more pigmented than the Viseart mattes and the Makeup by Mario mattes I was used to using. So at first I was like, oh my god, this is a disaster. I just learned over time I have to use a lot less of these, and then they work really, really well for me. But I just have to be mindful to not pick up too much, because Viseart or Makeup by Mario mattes, like, you can really just go ham and it's fine. And I still think Viseart mattes are probably my favorite formula out of those three that I'm talking about. But we're not talking about Viseart, we're talking about BEAUTÉ bar. I love the variety in here. The special glittery shades like Token Shimmer 1, Token Shimmer 2, these are like the more scattered, kind of like don't really have like a base as much. I love those two. Last night, and then I recreated the look for this video, my New Year's Eve look was really just replicate this silver glitter, and that's like mostly what I have all over. I have a little bit of Token Shimmer 1 and Oblivious in the inner corner 2. Replicate is mainly what I have, and it's so pretty. I'm usually not even like a huge silver girl, but I put this on and I was like, that is gorgeous. This kind of reminds me of my favorite Pat McGrath special shade in the Midnight Sun palette, if you know what I'm talking about. It's in the right quadrant. It's very pretty. It's kind of a similar vibe, maybe more silver, but really, really gorgeous. Like, the packaging's really nice and sturdy. It has a really nice mirror in it too. Again, these are magnetic, so I love, especially with my Viseart shades, building like a custom magnetic palette and being able to pop in like a special indie shade with the Viseart. I really love doing. So, I mean, you can see a lot of these mattes I have pretty good dents in. When I do use these glitters, I like to wear them more like this. So I like barely pick up any, and I very lightly press my eye, and it's still very, very intense. I do not wear these opaque. That's just not my preference for glittery eyeshadow. Again, I like scattered effect. I've really been blown away by this palette. It's been infinitely useful, and I really just love BEAUTÉ bar, I gotta say, as a brand. I have a couple of palettes from them now, and I'm not super well versed in the indie eyeshadow space, as like I know a lot about it because lots always going on, but I haven't tried a lot of brands. BEAUTÉ bar is the one that I just usually really like their color stories, or at least admire their color stories, and I found their formula is pretty phenomenal. Indie eyeshadows can definitely get up there in price, and BEAUTÉ bar I wouldn't say is affordable, but I would say for a small brand, a very small brand, the quality is really great, and I think the price is fair. Okay, eyeliner. This one's very interesting too. So in 2023, my favorite eyeliner was the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal eyeliner in black. I lost that eyeliner in 2024, so I haven't seen that girl in forever, and she's gone. I've moved twice since then. I will never see her again, and that's fine. In 2024, I didn't really have an eyeliner I was using a lot because I lost the one I liked, and I only had, I guess, like the Makeup by Mario one, which I never really loved that much. This year though, and this is not going to come as a shock, I'm like pretty consistent with what I use. I have just fallen head over heels for the Westman Atelier I Love You eye pencil, especially in the brown shade Col Brun. It is this beautiful warm tone brown. And what I love about this eyeliner is that it is soft and it actually blends. My eyelids are dry and they are textured, and blending eyeliner on them is impossible. Like, I really like the Victoria Beckham for this too, but those were super pigmented, and I learned how to use them to get a look I liked. And maybe it would have been different if I had the brown one. I just had the black one, and I would like to retry that formula at some point, and maybe I will this year. This one is much lower pigment. It is so easy to build an eye look on these. It's so easy to do like a soft blurred out wing with them. I like them in the waterline too. I have very sensitive eyes. I have like sensory issues with my eyes. And again, I have really dry textured lids. Just so many eyeliners just like won't blend at all on my eyelids, or I'll like really just like have to like work hard to blend them. And this blends like a dream, and it's actually a pencil. I hate, like, so many eyeliners are like stupid plastic pencils that you sharpen, and I just think we really got to end that. And I love that this is just like an actual pencil. It's quite expensive for what it is, but I think it's a unique enough product, and it's a product I use every day. Like, this is so easy to blend that on days where I'm not wearing a ton of makeup and I don't have a lot of time, I literally just scribble, blend with my finger, not even very hard, put on some mascara, and that's the eye look. Even today, I actually just bought the black shade of this pencil because I love it so much. I haven't tested that one as much. I will say the first time I used it yesterday, the tip broke off because this is such a soft formula, so be careful of that. I literally was using it, and I was like, this like tip is way too sharpened. The tip breaks off. I'm like, ugh. That's really annoying. I used the black one again today to build this look as well. I just think it's the best eyeliner formula I've ever tried. It's by far my favorite. If you are somebody who often finds that eyeliner is too pigmented, too hard to blend, not, I don't want to say flattering, but doesn't suit your eyes, the brown shade Col Brun of the Westman Atelier I Love You eye pencil, and Westman Atelier, Gucci if you're watching. I And I know you are. Please release more shades, because I didn't even know this existed. I found this on my own on Sephora. I've not heard anyone else talk about it. I'm worried. Like, I'm worried that this would be discontinued. Expand. Like, let's get more shades. Like, a taupey shade in this. Like, a terracotta shade in this. Please. Please, Gucci, please. Mascara, another very consistent favorite. And honestly, if I had done a full, robust favorites list in 2024, it probably would have been this too. The SAIE mascara. It's by far my favorite mascara. It is easy. It is breezy. It goes on well. Again, everything I said about my eyes is still true with mascara. So most mascaras really don't work for me. And I really don't try a ton because I just don't bother. Especially the brown shade. It's, again, kind of like the WESTMAN Atelier eyeliner. It's an actual warm brown. I really love it for day to day. It makes my lashes look really good. I get compliments when I wear this a lot. Specifically, the brown is my favorite, but the black's great too. Washes off really easily. I don't like tubing mascaras because they sensitize my eyes. I will say, I bought a new mascara recently and I'm wearing it right now. And I'll have all the products I'm actually wearing below too. And it's only the second time I've worn it, but I know pretty quick when I don't like a mascara, and I'm liking it so far. And it's even more expensive than the SAIE one. So we'll see about that. But this year definitely was dominated by the SAIE mascara, as were the last 2 years, quite honestly. Primer, I feel like I have been on a little bit of a journey with. I didn't have a favorite last year, but in 2023, I pointed out the Glossier Future Dew and the Charlotte Tilbury the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I have a mini of the Charlotte Tilbury now, and every time I use it, it does look really good. I still think that's like, I still feel like that's one of the best versions of that product I've tried, which makes sense because I feel like she kind of originated it. Glossier Future Dew I didn't have this year at all. I think I used up my last one sometime in 2024, maybe at like the very beginning of the year. Maybe it was at the beginning of this year. I would go back to that one actually. I love the Future Dew. It's a really beautiful dewy base for makeup. This year, however, my favorite primer was definitely the Ritual Defeat Creature of Light. I have the shade Glowing Creature. They're pretty adaptable shades. I don't think the darkest one would work for me, but this is like the penultimate darkest one, the second darkest one. It works really, really well on me. And this is just great. It looks really, really beautiful, dewy. It does actually hydrate my skin too on days when my skin is really, really dry, like today, and looking textured. I love to put this on because it just like perfects it, both like in the cosmetic way and also in a skincare way. It's a beautiful bottle, has a really nice pump that's easy to control what's coming out of it. To me, it's like a little bit more of like a gel version of the Auric Glow Lust. I feel like the Auric Glow Lust is like creamier and a little thicker, and the Ritual Defeat one is a little bit more of that gel moisture texture, but it still does have some body to it, and it's gorgeous. I really love it. I love it all over as a primer. It's actually really nice as a highlighter on like lower coverage days too. I love to mix this with foundations. Definitely been a favorite this year. You also get a ton of product in here. You get 1.69 ounce, 1.69. What? 1.69 ounces. 1.7. Let's call it 1.7 ounces. You know, it's a really beautiful bottle to be on your vanity too. Color corrector. I did not have a favorite color corrector in 2023 because I don't even think I really was color correcting yet. However, in 2024, and for most of this year, it's been the NYX Pro Fix Stick. I think this is like the third one I've used this year. I will say there's been a challenger in the ring lately. I'm going to try to do like a color corrector roundup video at some point. So I'm still working on doing the legwork for that. Vast majority of this year, it's been this. It's just like really easy to use. It is this pretty unique, I found. And as I'm trying more color correctors, I'm seeing just how unique and perfect it is. I feel like I always registered it as like a cooler pink. It's like a salmon with a little bit of peach in it, is what I would call it. And on me, it's just the perfect color to correct stubble, correct darkness. It's a soft matte formula that doesn't really dry out my skin. It works super well with other textures and wears well under things. I have been kind of interested in looking for another one because I feel like sometimes with creams, no matter how good they are, they can sit funny on stubble. I'm looking around at other liquid ones because I feel like that format may be better, but this is a hard one to beat. And I'm not even sure the new one I'm trying really does beat it. But I'll hopefully have that soon or at some point in a new video. It is something I go through, so it's nice that it's both affordable and accessible. They also have a pretty good range of other color correcting tones, so if you're like deeper than me or just have other color correcting needs besides like a pink, they have that. And like I said, it's really, really unique tone. So I've continued to love and use this product a ton this year. Foundation. Okay, in 2023, my favorite foundation was the Glossier foundation. The Stretch Foundation, I think it's called. Which is funny because that is a foundation I feel like off and on for me. Like sometimes it is gorgeous on me and like works really well, and then sometimes it looks really awful on me, but I guess at that point it looked really good. It's still what I have in my collection, but it's not one I reach for a ton, honestly. And I'm not a huge foundation girl at all, but this year I was more of a foundation girl because I didn't have a favorite last year, which makes sense. In 2025, I have two, which is shocking because again, I'm usually a concealer all over the face kind of gal. One that really surprised me that I liked, and I bought it, so I don't know why it's a surprise. It's the R.E.M Sweetener foundation, and I have the shade Fair 9 Neutral Gold. One thing I really like about this and why I bought it when I swatched it in store is I love the color of it. I think neutral gold is probably one of the best ways to like describe my skin tone. I swatched it and I was like, that's like almost a perfect color for me. I was interested in trying it anyway because I like R.E.M as a brand. I'm a big Ariana Grande fan, but if the makeup was bad for me, I would say it's bad. Like, it's a celebrity brand. It's not actually like she's in the lab creating it. She just put her name on it. But I will say this is not the last R.E.M product in this video, and I think it's at a really good price point. I like that it's an Ulta and you can swatch it. I've been impressed by a lot of the products. This is like shocking that I like this for a lot of reasons. It is a more matte foundation. It's a more full, like I think this is full coverage. What I like about this, I will say my skin is way too dry to wear this now. This was like spring, summer. I wore this a lot, which you can tell. Like I have pretty significant windowing on this. I would say I've like used it about half up. I think they have skincare claims in it, but it feels like an actual like foundation, like kind of an old school foundation to me, which again, I'm usually more of like a skin tint concealer girl. Over the spring and summer, I just wanted something with more coverage. So I liked that it had more coverage. I like that it was a little bit more of that soft matte look. It's also really great to mix with things. Like for example, mixing this in the Ritual Diffuse works really well, or any like probably with Future Dew would mix super well too. It wears really well. I will say sometimes it could get a little heavy and settle in my like lines here, but for the most part it wore really well. Again, I just like wasn't loving how I looked in those seasons, so I just wanted something that was like almost like mask-like, and it does kind of look mask-like, which isn't usually like a good attribute, but sometimes I think it's kind of gunty. So that's how I wore it a lot of the times, or again, a lot of times I would mix it too. This is the foundation I wore in Chicago when I went with Tom, and except for one day where we were put through trials and tribulations and nobody's makeup was gonna look it after that, I found it wore really well in like heat. Like I would get back and I'd be like, my entire face is not totally melted off. I was really impressed by this, and I was really surprised how much I used it and reached for it. And then this is a foundation I've used up before and panned before, and I never thought when I did that I would buy this again, because I only started to like this toward the end of using it the first time. But I was wanting something that was like more hydrating, a little bit more skincare-y, and like I guess serum-y, softer, dewier than the R.E.M, but I was enjoying actually wearing foundation. I had just bought a few new things that really disappointed me, so the latter half of the year was really focused on me being like, I'm going to buy like old favorites. And I'm so glad I like revisited this. It's the KOSAS foundation in the shade Light Neutral 140, which again, I think is a really great shade match for me, which is probably one of the reasons that I love it so much. It feels kind of like a serum-y jelly moisturizer, and it's really great to apply with your hands. I applied it with a brush today, but a lot of times I will apply it with my hands. I feel like when I apply it with my hands, it looks so much just like my skin, almost like a skin tint, but it does have more coverage. I would say I can get up to like a medium coverage with this. I really love this when I have dry skin, and it's been great in the winter. It's not like super dewy, slippy, like the Ilia skin tint like that I tried this year, and it's so oily, dewy, and that's like a vibe sometimes, but a lot of the times I want my skin to still look perfected, but then a lot of the products that do perfect and blur can sometimes dry my skin out, and I find this actually, like, it's a really nice hydrating veil without like super drying my skin out, but also without being like too slippy oily. I really love this. It's great, and I'm glad I repurchased. Okay, concealer is one where I feel like I've really been on quite the wild goose chase with my concealer. In 2023, my favorites were the Uoma Beauty concealer and the Glossier Stretch concealer. Both products I've used up, I think, multiple times for both of them. I don't really know what's going on with the Uoma Beauty. There was a whole ownership battle. I think the brand may still be around, but with how they treated Sharon, and then Sharon's super unfortunate passing this year, and their super not great response to that as well, just like that all really turned me off to the brand, and it seemed kind of like a mess, especially because so much of the brand was Sharon's vision behind it, and I felt like that was really discounted toward the end. So anyway, still one of maybe the best liquid concealer I've ever used for the under eyes. Like, that concealer is phenomenal, but not a company I really want to support at this point with everything that happened with that. Glossier Stretch Concealer, I feel like I've moved past. It's just like too dewy, I feel like, for most days for me at this point in my life. And then last year, my favorite concealer was Ilia Skin Rewind Complexion Stick in 2C Balsa. I do really like that product, but again, I've kind of found myself moving away from cream-based products because I love the ease of them and I love the convenience, and if I didn't have facial hair, I think I'd really love them, but I have just found over time that they don't sit as well on facial hair as liquid product. I still have the Ilia stick, but I don't use it a ton. That shade's also very, very light for me, so it's definitely more of a winter product. So maybe I should try to bust it out and use it some, but we'll see. This year, though, my favorite concealer is one that I actually don't have anymore because I used both of my tubes up throughout the year, but it's the KOSAS Revealer Concealer. I have found that KOSAS products are great for my complexion because this is not the last KOSAS complexion product we will talk about. It's so funny, though, because, like, I remember how desperate I was to use up these concealers earlier in the year because I was just sick of them. Like, I think in total throughout my like beauty career, I've used up at least 4 or 5 tubes of the KOSAS concealer, and it's so reliable. It's so nice and hydrating. It has like caffeine in it, I think. It always makes your under eyes look a little better too, not just through coverage, but kind of the texture of the product. It's great to wear all over the face. It never dries my skin out, but again, it has like really nice like medium, almost like full coverage, I would say. It's so good that whenever I use it consistently, I get kind of sick of it because I'm somebody who likes to experiment with products. I like experimenting with complexion products a lot. I ended up buying like, I think 3 different brands of concealers just to like try different formulas out. I was ready for something new. I didn't like any of them. I didn't like any of them. Really, they're all so inconsistent. Were not working for me. And I will say there's a drugstore concealer I bought recently that I have been really impressed with. But it's like way too recent. It was like the last like 3 or 4 weeks. So I couldn't include it in this. I think maybe next year I could see it being on this list because it is really, really fabulous. It's still the KOSAS Revealer Concealer. And even though it's one of those products I sometimes talk about where it's so good and reliable, it makes itself boring. And after you use it for a while, you get sick of it and you just assume that every concealer is like that and you're ready for something new and more exciting. And then you go out and find something more new and exciting and then you realize it's bad. And actually the KOSAS is a pretty notably great product. In 2023, my favorite powder was the Glossier Wowder. I used that up either in 2023 or at the start of 2024, and I haven't repurchased since. I was really convinced that Glossier was going to discontinue that because that's one of the only makeup products not available on Sephora from Glossier. They haven't still. It's still in their stores and it's still on their website. Last time I checked, I was really convinced they were going to sell the remaining stock like direct to consumer, and then they were going to relaunch like Wowder Pressed in Sephora, which has not happened. And I never had evidence of that happening. That was just like vibes wise, because I was like, why is every like other makeup product they sell on Sephora but Wowder isn't? And they still haven't done that. Even though I remember it being a great powder, and I would actually like to retry it at some point. I don't use a ton of powders, so I really don't need many at all. I have too many as is, so I don't know if I'll try it again this year, but I do still have a positive impression of that one. I just haven't bought it since I used it up. Last year, I didn't have like a notable favorite powder. This year, I will say for most of the year, I was using the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder in One Fair, even though I find it quite deep for a fair powder. I actually used it today to darken my under eyes because they were too light compared to the rest of my face. It's hard to call this a favorite because it's almost like the KOSAS where it's just like a reliably good pressed powder. And so I'm like, it's not really that great. It's just like what I have and it works fine. But then I'll use other things and I'm like, oh, I guess this is good. I used up a mini of this year, and then obviously I have a pretty significant pan on the larger version. This is the type of product though that like even the people who don't really use a lot of their makeup collection will have pans on this because it's a shallow pan. Altino shade. If I'm being honest, because the other powder I'm going to talk about is the KOSAS Cloud Set. This is one I think I got like a couple of months ago, so it felt like I knew it enough to put it on the list, but I had to be honest, and this is really the powder I've used the most this year. I don't even think I would repurchase it when I'm done with it. But then maybe the same thing that happened with the KOSAS will happen where I'll try other things and I'll be like, actually, the Charlotte Tilbury is quite good. This is maybe my true favorite though, is the KOSAS Cloud Set powder in pink. I find this sets my makeup over my stubble so well. It's so blurring without being drying. I like the pink tone because it just like slightly brightens. It's not like super pigmented, pink, but it has kind of the color, like softer color correcting aspects of a bright pink powder. This is just great for dry skin, which is like, we've been new, I guess. That is what KOSAS Cloud Set is known for. I had this before in a skin tone shade. I think I had it in their second lightest shade, and it really was too dark for me unless it was like the summer. So I'm really glad to have this in this shade. It works beautifully. I think it's a great powder. It works great with all the other KOSAS complexion products I apparently love. It's really the only powder I probably need, if I'm really honest. I do find this a little bit more drying for my skin and like a little bit more full glam. This is just so great to like gently set down pretty much any look, and it's great for the dry weather too. Maybe this is like a better summer powder, I guess. I don't know. Contour. I've not had contour favorites the last couple of years, and I will say, I feel like some people will be like, that's not contour, and that I'm about to show y'all, because I don't love a gray contour. I know technically that's what contour is supposed to be for my skin tone, but when I put it on, it looks like I put gray on. It doesn't look like a shadow or anything. So I like something with a little bit more warmth that's still a sculpting shade. I really consider contour more of like a combo sculpt bronze moment, and then bronzer is actually just the bronzing. These are my two favorites and definitely my most used. I've got Westman Atelier Biscuit. I have the mini, which I will say has lasted me a lot, and I use this all the time. And then I have Salt New York Taupe, which is actually a product I've completely panned before, but I rebought this year. And the Westman Atelier is definitely darker, definitely more matte, and dries down to like a powder finish. The Salt New York, it does actually last a good bit on me, I will say. Better than their blushes do, that's for sure. It is dewier and sets less than the Westman Atelier Biscuit. And Biscuit's darker, and I would say actually maybe a little bit more neutral, really, than the Salt New York. The Salt New York may be like a touch warmer and more yellow. But I find they both work super well to sculpt my cheeks kind of as a combo product. Sometimes I'll just leave it, or sometimes I'll put like a powder bronzer over it, or kind of, you know, above it, I suppose. I really love both of these. Lately, I've really just been using the Westman Atelier though. Now that I've figured out how I like to use this product, I mean, this is how I use most of my stick products, but I usually use the Real Technique contour brush, and I just dab on here a few times with the brush, and then I'll press it on my skin. Really blurring, really perfecting. And again, I have the mini, and it's lasted me quite a while. The Salt New York I use more on low coverage days, because I do feel like if I'm have too much coverage or product on my skin, it can lift a little bit or just like not really do as much. But I love this formula. This is probably my favorite formula from Salt New York. It isn't as dewy as their blushes, so it lasts longer. I feel like it just like kind of adheres to the skin more, and it's less transparent and Vaseline-y than a lot of the other products I find from Salt New York. It's a little bit more stable and secure is what it feels like, but it still has a beautiful glow. And I almost consider it how a lot of people consider the Makeup by Mario bronzer thing in the pan, the Skin Perfector, I think it's called. I've never tried that, but I imagine it's a lot like Taupe from Salt New York, because I consider this like a complexion step, honestly, because it just, especially on lower coverage days, really becomes one with the skin, and it looks less like I put contour on and more that I just like perfected my skin with another complexion product, if that makes sense. Bronzer. I'm very consistent with my bronzer apparently, because the only favorite I've ever had for bronzer, and it's the favorite this year, is the Gucci bronzer. And I will say the pan keeps growing. The pan keeps growing in this. And I've had it for quite a while. It still performs beautifully. Definitely less fragrance than it once was, which kind of makes me sad because I love the Gucci fragrance. The most beautiful warm rose bronzer, the best powder formula or pressed powder cheek formula I think I've ever used. It is not drying, but it is super blurring and perfecting. It's a perfect warm rosy tone. I will say when this launched, I feel like it was super, super unique, and it like looked pink next to most people's bronzer collections. Now that like I know Jones Road, and I know Bobbi Brown originally was like the one who kind of like, I guess, created, or I don't know if she created, I don't know. But she was the one who kind of popularized the rosy bronzer, like back when she was actually in charge for brand. And then with Jones Road, I know she like brought back a very popular rosy range of bronzer. This, when it launched, felt more unique than it is now. A lot of brands are now on, like I know NYX and L'Oreal, I think, have some rosy options. Phytosurgence, an indie brand, has a lot of rosy options in their cream bronzer. So I think you could swatch this against those and it would not be as rosy as some of those offerings are now. But to me, I have like warmer kind of golden undertones, and this looks so beautiful on me. I'm wearing it today over the Westman Atelier Biscuit cream contour. and it still performs beautifully after all these years. I still, like, there was a period this year where I had to make myself get use out of my other powder and cream bronzers because this is like what I use most of the time. The packaging, I will say it's not like the heaviest or anything, but it has, like, that's still gold. That's impressive because this has traveled with me. This has been with me for a while. The packaging still looks really beautiful. I love this bronzer, clearly. And it's, I wouldn't be surprised if it's my favorite next year too. I'm very consistent with it. Kind of a wild purchase when I bought it because it was like $60 I think at the time, and now it's $65 I'm pretty sure. I just knew I would use it a lot, and especially back then I used it a lot, and I still sometimes do, as especially if I'm wearing a red lip or a bold lip. I won't use any blush and I'll use this as like a bronzer, if you will, or just like the only product on my cheek, like kind of an all-in-one. Looks super gorgeous for that too. It's just, this is the best. And the proof is in the pudding. Blush, I have definitely... It's funny because I still use all of these blushes a lot. Pat McGrath Flirtatious, I still use and love, and I still don't have a friggin' pan in, even after all these years, and I've used it so much, but it is the most tightly packed, hard pressed powder cheek product I think I've ever used. It's impossible to hit pan on. Last year, my favorite was the Valentino I2 cheek shade in the shade 03. Love that product still. I don't use it as much, but when I do, I think it looks gorgeous. It's like a soft bitten berry with a little bit of a warm shift. Super unique, really gorgeous. This year, however, to me, my most used and my favorite was very clear. It's again the Phytosurgence cream blush, but it's instead in the shade, instead of condensate, it is Fume. Fume? And I think I used like half of it up this year. I wouldn't be surprised if I empty this by next year. Because like when I get on this, I will only use this. Like there were months this year where I felt like this was the only blush I was using. Fume is like condensate's older, more warm tone sister. On me, it's definitely like a neutral rosy mauve shade, which is my favorite type of blush. I think on some people it can pull warm depending on your undertone. For me, it's like an everyday, every look blush. I love condensate, but I can really only wear it when I'm like super pale, which I am and have been most of the year. If I get any tanner than like my norm, condensate becomes like a little too almost like ashy gray on me and isn't super flattering. This I can wear pretty much at any point throughout the year. It can go warm, it can go cool, it can kind of do everything. I love the Phytosurgence formula. It's super pigmented, but really easy to blend, really easy to build up, or it's really easy to wear naturally. Dries down to a really nice powder finish, but it doesn't look dry and powdery. It just looks kind of perfected, but it applies like a cream. I think a really super fair price, and apparently they've fixed the cracked lid problem, so I mean, what more could you ask for? Today I'm wearing Exothermic because I just bought that one because I knew I was about to use up condensate, and I've been wanting it forever, and I quite like the way it looks. I love Fume. Love Fume. Highlighter is another repeat. In 2023, my favorite highlighter was the highlighting shade in the Pat McGrath Midnight Sun palette, which I still have. I actually haven't mentioned this on my channel yet. I've kind of unofficially, but I guess sort of officially, decided to retire my Pat McGrath palettes. They are in my background, actually, kind of behind the portrait of Dodger, holding up some other stuff. Yeah, I haven't used them at all this year, and I kind of feel like I don't know if I'll ever use them again. Like maybe to like bust out for like a video, like a nostalgia video. Those are palettes I'm never going to like get rid of because they're very nostalgic for me and they're just special to me. I don't really consider them part of my eyeshadow collection anymore because a lot of the mattes were getting kind of old, and Pat McGrath never had my favorite matte formula, but they especially were getting just kind of like choppy. I'm sure the glittery shades would still be nice, but I don't want to like depot them because I just don't want to do that. And I also, again, they like mean something to me as the original palette, so I don't really want to mess with them at all. So I've kind of retired them. But anyway, last year my favorite highlighter was this, and it's the same this year. It's the is the R.E.M Miss Mercury. I just really struggled to say that for a while. Miss Merc. I really have trouble with M sounds, and sometimes I just leave it in. It's my favorite highlighter still. I have a pretty good pan on this. I know a lot of people, powder highlighter is out. Powder highlighter is always going to have a place in my collection. It's just, I don't know. It's like makeup with a capital M. And I love that. I love that. It's a beautiful formula. It is more like a highlighter topper. So I feel like it doesn't have like a super heavy base pigment, but it does have beautiful shine. Whenever I wear this, I usually get compliments on my highlighter. Gorgeous. It has this beautiful like champagne-y, like warm champagne-y glow to it. I love the compact too. I love like the, kind of in the center there. I love the MacBook space aesthetic. It's kind of odd and weird. You will probably have to pry it out of my cold dead hands if they ever discontinue it. This year was truly the year of lip liner for me. And I think at the end of last year I got into it too, because I didn't have a lip liner favorite in 2023 or 2024. If e.l.f. hadn't had gone and done stupid crap, sounds like country there, stupid crap. If they hadn't gone and done that, they probably would be on this list. And I know I've had them in other favorites videos throughout the year and probably last year. I still use those because I have them, but I don't use them as much because they just kind of piss me off. The thing I've used the most this year in light of that was the Ilia Lip Sketch Hydrating Clown. A Lip Sketch Hydrating Crown. I think that's because I grew up in Appalachia, but I say crown on a head and crown you color with. I say the same. Like, I don't say crayon. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. This is the shade Untitled, which is like this neutrally taupey brown shade. When these launched, I bought Banquette, which I like. It's more of a pinky beige, but I said when they launched they really need more neutral brown shades, and then they actually launched a few new brown shades this year. I still think the range could probably go deeper, and I still think they need more neutral shades in my opinion, because a lot of them are just so primary. I am really happy they listened and actually launched some new browns. I really love Untitled. I wear it all the time. I feel like in the past I just never felt like lip liners looked right on me, and then I just figured it out. I don't know, at some point I think last year I just was like, oh, actually they do look really good on me, and I can make my lips look more like how I want them to look with them. And I think part of that is just like trying to let go of being scared of unevenness, which is funny that I say that because I have a whole, like my last video, or one of my last videos was, I had the fact that my lip liner was uneven in the title. So that's obviously something I still need to work on, but I'm a lot better about kind of letting it go and realizing that most people don't care and most people aren't looking at my lips as much as I am. This is a chubbier crown, so sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult to get a truly like defined lip line with this. Can usually figure something out and kind of adjust, and this is like a light enough shade that it usually just kind of gives me like a nice contour to my lips. They also last really well. Kind of assumed they didn't because they blend out so well and they're like kind of mistake proof, kind of like the e.l.f. lip liners were. But they last a lot longer than the e.l.f. lip liners. Like, these have some staying power. I've like worn them through like a dinner and I can still see them after a dinner. Next category is truly one of my products of the year. In the lip balm category, in 2023, my favorite was the Glossier Balm.com. I still use those and I still like those. In 2024, I didn't have a favorite. This year though, my dominant lip product of the year, the Phytosurgence lip balms. Tinted and untinted. I've completely panned the clear one. I've gifted this to people for Christmas. I gifted this to my mom and sister for Christmas. And I have like 5 tinted shades and I use them all. This is the shade Crash Cadence. It's actually what I'm wearing. Yeah, I still have it on my lips. It's what I'm wearing on my lips today along with a lip liner. This is like more of a lipsticky shade on me, like, or a tinted shade I guess on me. It still has the lip balm qualities, but it is like a deeper brown, but it's a beautiful, beautiful brown. I mean, I've already talked about these a ton, but as you can see in the swatch, they do have a little bit of shine to them, but for a tinted lip balm especially, they are much more on the matte, stable, waxy side, which I love as somebody with small lips. As somebody where oftentimes tinted lip balms can just like get everywhere, it feels like. These actually stay put. They last on the lips a while. They actually hydrate your lips, especially the clear one. The clear one is the best lip balm of all time. I love that they're in a tube, so they're super easy to apply, much easier to apply than something like the Glossier Balm.coms or even the Summer Friday Easy Tube lip balms. I just love this more solid, waxy formula. The shades are amazing. Phytosurgence is so good at picking out shades. This line really has a unique quality on me of like, I don't like when my lips look super pink most of the time, unless I'm going for a very specific aesthetic. And my lips are pretty pigmented in the pink shade family, I would say. And most, even like brown lip products, when I put them on my lips, I honestly feel like they make my lips look more pink. And somehow this entire range, I have just in depths, the red one, I think it's called Bright Brine. I have like a mix of a mauvey and a brown one that they did that was like a special kind of release. I have Silent Seas, which is kind of like the condensate, super mucky, pinky lavendery of the line. I have so many shades of this and they all neutralize my lip tone in such a unique way. and they don't make my lips look pinker. And that's like something I've wanted my entire life with lip products. I feel like especially the brown shades, especially Distant Depths, which is like the less pigmented version of Crash Cadence. It is very similar to me to Glossier Leo, which is like Glossier's like tinted lipstick range. Except it does actually hydrate my lips. It doesn't dry them out. I also think the price is right on these. It's just the best lip product. It's honestly made most of my lip collection obsolete, and I think I have some heavy decluttering to do in that category, which hopefully I'll talk about in future content, but my lip collection needs to be pared down significantly. And that's honestly a lot to do with just like, I didn't realize how much lip products didn't work for me, honestly, until I tried the Phytosurgence lip balms, because they are just my perfect lip product and they have replaced most of my collection. So much so that I've never had a favorite in lip gloss because I don't really wear lip gloss, so an A for every year. And then for lipstick, the past couple years, that was a snore. Oh, we're dreaming. I guess I'll talk through this. In 2023, my favorite lipsticks were Glossier Shift, which is their like lip cream, and then Glossier Leo, which is, again, like I just said, their tinted lipsticks. Last year, my favorite lipsticks were the... That was a crazy snore. Last year, my favorite lipsticks were the Milani Color Fetish Matte lipsticks, which again, I just like most days, I just want to wear the Phytosurgence lip balm. So I still like that formula for a full coverage lipstick formula, but do I ever wear them? Not really. And then this year, I just don't have a favorite lipstick because again, I just wore the Phytosurgence balms. A few other NA categories to round this out. Setting spray, my favorite in 2023 was the Milk Hydro Grip. Didn't really have a favorite last year, or didn't have one that was worth mentioning in that kind of, like I said, spare favorites video. This year, I used a ton. None of them really stood out to me. I have a couple that I'm using now that I think could be favorites, but I just haven't used them long enough, or enough, really. For a brow pen or pencil, I've never had a favorite because I hate filling in my brows. Even if it's a good product, I just like can barely say it's a favorite. I like the Ulta Slim Brow Pencil, and I'm using the Glossier Brow Flick right now, the pen. I like that one too. I feel like that one, sometimes I'll open it and it'll be perfect, then other times it'll be really, really dry, even if I shake it. So I don't know. I really just don't have a favorite product for that category. And then for brow gel, I haven't had a favorite before, but if I'm being super honest, my favorite this year was the e.l.f. Brow Laminating Gel. I'm not sure I would recommend you buy that because I just don't like love e.l.f.'s actions as a company this past year. But have I found anything that's nearly as good as that product? No. Sure haven't. So I do have to admit that it was a favorite this year. All right, that is the video. Those were my favorite products from 2025. I hope y'all enjoyed. Everything's going to be linked below. Affiliate links are always marked. Shop at your own discretion. Please don't overshop or overbuy using my affiliate links. That would make me really, really sad. But it is all linked below in case something did catch your eye and you would like to support little old me. Give this video a like if you enjoyed the video. It helps me a lot in the wild, wild west of the YouTube algorithm. Hype if you must. Subscribe if you want to see future videos. And thank y'all so much for being here. We're going to be okay. Bye, y'all.